Hey, Tara Laidlaw here from the Southern Oregon Land Conservancy with today's episode of Outside Everyday with Surreal. Today, I'm going to show you how you can explore the microscopic world of bacteria without a microscope. So, we will be using just a couple of everyday household items, some hydrogen peroxide that you might find in your first aid kit, a little Tupperware, and a straw. You might also want to have your nature journal handy for some note-taking. And so the cool thing about hydrogen peroxide is that it kills bacteria. You may have used it on cuts or scrapes, and it kind of sizzles a little bit when you put it on an open cut or a scrape. And that sizzling is actually the bacteria cells breaking apart. It's the cell walls just falling apart completely. And so the hydrogen peroxide responds in the same way with any bacteria, not just bacteria on our skin. So for this activity, we're going to start by pouring just a little bit of hydrogen peroxide into the bottom part of the Tupperware. And hydrogen peroxide is pretty safe as far as household chemicals go, but this is definitely an adult supervision activity. You don't want to get it in your eyes, and you also don't want to drink it. So just be aware. So we'll take a little splash, just like that. And then the top of our Tupperware is going to become our little petri dish or our lab space. And so you can start by taking a sample of anything that you think there might be bacteria on it. So I'm going to start with a little pinch of soil. And I'm going to just put this soil right here in my petri dish. And you do want to check that there's no little critters in there, because that would make their day very sad. And so then we're going to take the straw, and as you have probably done with the tail end of a milkshake, if you put the straw into the liquid, put your finger over the top and lift, the straw is going to hold onto a little bit of liquid. So we can use this kind of like an eyedropper, if you don't have an eyedropper. Then I'm just going to let that drop go onto my sample, and if you zoom in, you can see that there's a little bit of bubbling starting to happen. And if I get my ear really close, I can also hear the sizzling. And so what that means is that there is bacteria present in this soil. So even though I can't see it, it's microscopic, I can't see it without the help of a microscope, I can still know that it's present by testing with peroxide. So you can try this on lots of different surfaces. In your nature journal, you can make yourself a chart to help keep track of your observations. And what I would do is have a 3-column chart like this, where the first column is the item that you're going to test. So in this case, it would have been some soil. Here, I would write my prediction, and that might be, I don't think it's going to sizzle at all, or I think it's going to sizzle a lot, or maybe just a little bit of sizzling. And that prediction is based on how much bacteria you think is present on this item. And then you'll write down your result, what actually happened. And that way you can remember what you predicted and compare it with your result as you try lots of different items. And then you can also see how your predictions maybe improve over time as you explore what may or may not have bacteria. So a couple other ways to use this and to explore. You might choose to take a living leaf from a plant and a dead leaf from the same plant on the ground underneath, and compare the amount of bacteria that's on a live leaf versus a dead one. You might try comparing soil from different locations, like some really rich dark soil versus some really poor, more sandy or gravelly soil. You could even try testing rocks. You could try testing a log. The sky's the limit. You can try testing just about anything for the presence of bacteria using hydrogen peroxide. But again, not recommended to test it on animals, although hydrogen peroxide is very safe for humans in the diluted version that comes from the pharmacy. You do want to be respectful of the other living creatures in your yard or your neighborhood. When you're done with your peroxide experiments, it is perfectly safe to put this down the drain. You don't have to dispose of it in any special way. So just down the drain, give it a little rinse, and you're good to go. So I encourage you to get out there and see what you can, well, not see, but observe using hearing and looking for those little bubbles to start to explore the invisible world of bacteria.